What's going on YouTube? Can y'all please hit that like button? And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, player. It don't cost you nothing. It's free. I'm telling you, it's free. It's the only thing free you're going to get in this world is hit that subscribe button, man. You know what I'm saying? And if you're already subscribed, I salute y'all. Thank you. Let's go. What's happening, YouTube? Today we're going to get into a discussion about the individuals that was able to come out of Los Angeles, California, and work their way in to Northern California and set up shop, and still till this day have crews and these gangs within Northern California with roots to LA. And the gang we're going to be talking about today is the gang OFA from Los Angeles, California, West Side, LA to be exact. OFA standing for Oxford Avenue, 13, Oxford Avenue 13. They're Serranos, they're Southsiders from Los Angeles. Now, let's dig back into the history of Oxford Avenue before we start, because this gang did work their way into Northern California and to numerous Northern California cities and are still there and still going strong. But before we get into that, yes, let's talk about their history. Oxford Avenue started in West LA, of course, on Oxford Avenue. Some may say it started off as a graft crew, out for action. That's what OFA stands for, out for action. And it started by an individual by the name of Scan from Hollywood sometime in the mid 80s. And in the mid 80s, Scan from Hollywood brought OFA, the graft crew, a graffiti tagging crew, to Los Angeles. And there they went forward as Los Angeles, Oxford Avenue, OFA. But there's a whole different history to this. And there's videos out there that say that OFA started off as a graffiti crew and then became tag bangers and then became official Sereno Southsider official gang. Well, I know the history a little bit different because it was told to me a little bit different. I was told it started off as a barrio. Oxford Avenue started off as a barrio sometime in the late 70s, early 80s. Right there in West Los Angeles. Oxford Avenue. It was the barrio, it was raza, it was Mexicanos just right there, your typical LA barrio. Now, this was before the North and South thing, so there was really no such thing as Serranos like that. It was just barrio. It was all about your barrio, where you're from, your block, your hood, your territory, and this is what these guys were about. And somewhere down the line, the guys from Oxford Avenue weren't really with the politics. They weren't really with the guys from prison being able to dictate where they can sell, where they, the taxations and all things like that. They weren't with that. So they really stopped pushing that agenda. You know what I'm saying? They really stopped pushing that agenda, and Oxford Avenue eventually turned into Out for Action, the graffiti crew. Yes, the barrio Oxford Avenue was a barrio that turned into a graffiti crew, tagging crew, which stands for Out for Action. Now, who turned it into a graffiti crew? It was the offsprings of the Oxford Avenue dudes. Their youngins, their kids, their grandchildren, the new generation on the block, they became graffiti artists, and they started tagging OFA, Out for Action, instead of the Oxford Avenue moniker. They were going by Out for Action. Still kept the same letters, but now they were a graft crew. Especially in the early 90s, when the lot of change within the gangbanging culture down there in LA started taking place. A lot of implementation started being implemented down there in the streets of Los Angeles. And a lot of these guys wasn't with that. A lot of these guys wasn't with the taxations. So what ended up happening is these guys end up migrating up north. One specific guy, we're going to call him Al. Al migrated to a city called Stockton, California. Stockton is a very predominantly Norteño city in Northern California. It's about 45 minutes south of Sacramento, about an hour and a half away from San Francisco. Now, Al wasn't a gang member. Al was a graffiti artist from OFA, Los Angeles. He was from OFA, he was from LA. But when the guys started taxing the graffiti crews in LA, he wasn't with that. His family got up and they left. They landed in Stockton, which was no better than, if you're trying to get away from the gang stuff. So he landed in Stockton, and he brought with him OFA. As far as like he's gonna keep it going, he didn't bring no one else from the crew with him, just him and his family. He was a teenager. He was still in high school, and this is just where his family landed. He went to a school in Stockton called Stagg High School. There he met an individual by the name of Truth. Now Truth has a lot of cousins and a lot of friends. He was very popular in this high school in Stockton, and he took a liking to this individual named Al because they were both graffiti artists. This guy Al got down on the walls. He was doing his thing, and Truth ended up being from OFA, the first official OFA from Stockton. Well, this guy Al, he didn't last very long in Stockton, as in the 90s, the gang banging in Stockton was, just like most places, at an all-time high, and him being from LA, it just wouldn't work out, right? So Al was always getting into scrimmages. There was always getting into conflicts with other guys from the city of Stockton. And Al ended up moving and leaving the crew OFA to Truth. Truth held on to OFA and started recruiting. He recruited, and he ended up recruiting a lot of individuals, actually. And one of those individuals happened to be a guy by the name of Mac. Now, Mac was a fighter. Mac was always getting in trouble. His family packed their stuff, moved from Stockton to another city in Northern California, San Jose. Now, when Mac goes to San Jose, Mac and Truth are cousins. When Mac moves to San Jose, he takes with him OFA. Now, Mac goes to San Jose and recruits, and he's recruiting, and it spreads like wildfire, bro. Yeah, and he has two requirements to be from OFA. One, you have to be with the shit, with the business. You have to be known for knocking motherfuckers out, fighting, all that, right? And you have to be a dope graffiti artist. You had to be willing to go out and hit up on them walls. You know what I'm saying? So those were the requirements, and they spread like wildfire, and they were beefing with other crews, and other crews like TSU. There was other big crews out there in San Jose at the time, like JBF. And while all this is going on, the Stockton and the San Jose OFA kept in contact, very close contact. The San Jose guys would come to Stockton, the Stockton guys would come to San Jose, vice versa, hang out, have barbecues, go tagging in each other's cities with each other, all that good stuff, right? Well, LA, they were incommunicado with LA. They didn't have no contact because their only contact was with that guy Al. Now, Al brought it to Stockton, and then he moved after things got rough in Stockton. And that was the last time they heard from him for a very long time. So in San Jose, the guys in San Jose eventually end up becoming Nortenos. And the crew OFA became Nortenos, a tag banging crew. They got X4 tatted on them, XIV, 4 dots, all that, right? Full-fledged Nortenos, OFA 14, OFA Norte from San Jose. That's the OFA San Jose branch. While on the other side of the map, down in Southern California in Los Angeles, you had OFA 13, OFA 13, OFA Sur, right? Oxford Avenue. Same roots, come from the same place, but one is in San Jose banging Norte, the other one is in LA banging Sur. The guys from Stockton kept it neutral. Sometime around the mid-2000s, they got back into contact with their roots from LA. The guys from Stockton did. And this caused a rift within the OFA, the Northern California OFA, because the guys from San Jose, as you could imagine, did not like this at all. They did not like this one bit. They didn't like that the guys from Stockton were going to LA to kick it with these dudes. They didn't like the fact that Stockton OFA was allowing the LA guys to come up and kick it in Stockton and have barbecues and chill in the backyards and go tagging and this and that. Well, at the same time, these guys from LA, they're not just graffiti artists. They're still OFA, and OFA is always in their heart, but they have 13s all blasted all over them, and they bang that Sur. So the San Jose obviously did not like that. And it caused a rift in the Northern California factions. But nonetheless, business continued on. There's even OFA now in Modesto that are Nortenos. There's OFA in Phoenix. There's OFA in Vegas. There's OFA in South Arizona that are Nortenos. An OFA member from San Francisco that's a Norteño took OFA to South Phoenix and started a Norteño OFA out there in South Arizona, in a small town out there. So yes, OFA is very huge, and they're everywhere. And it's one of the only LA gangs to still be going strong in Northern California. Even though they don't bang sur, the Northern California OFA has never banged sur, never been tied to any 13 or 14, well, the San Jose guys have, but they just never went that route. Because when it was brought to them in Stockton, it was brought to them as a graffiti crew, not as the Sereno gang. You guys feel what I'm saying? And the Stockton OFA stayed neutral because they were like, look, bro, we're not Norteños. The OFA is OFA, even though they're Serenos, it's still cool. Well, at the same time, there were some Stockton OFA guys that didn't like it either. Because those guys were like, man, we're not going to fuck with those dudes because we have family that are Norteños. And I don't want to disrespect my family by kicking it with Serenos one weekend and then the next weekend go kick it with my cousins that are all Norteños. It doesn't work like that, you know what I'm saying? What part of the game is that, right? So, like I said, it caused a rift within the OFA, but yes, business continued on. Don't think these taggers are some type of little street punks that just only tag on walls. Don't get it twisted, homie. These dudes will peel your cap just as quick as any known gang member will. These dudes carry, you know what I'm saying, them things just like known gang members do. These dudes call meetings. They have juntas. They fucking jump each other in. You know what I'm saying? Like an actual gang, but they're a graffiti crew. As far as the Stockton one, and let me clarify something else. Not all of the San Jose OFA is Norteños. There's still a small section of San Jose OFA that's stuck to strictly graffiti. Same thing with Los Angeles. There's still a small section of the Los Angeles OFA that just stuck to strictly graffiti. OFA 632, which stands for OFA when you text it on your phone. You look at your phone, OFA is 632, and that's what they go by. They don't represent the 13, they represent the 632. Again, OFA is huge. They even had, I don't know if it's still there, an OFA in Compton. They had some OFA members in Portland that are recruiting, and it depends on who you ask. Some may say yes, they're Serenos. Some may say no, there ain't Serenos. That's only in LA that they're Serenos. Everywhere else is strictly a graph crew. Like I said, depending on who you ask, you're gonna get a different story. You're gonna hear a different history on how it started, where it started. But facts are facts, and no matter which way you look at it, it's all gonna come back to the same spot, which is West Los Angeles, Oxford Avenue. Let's keep it real. Oxford Avenue is it's a real gang. It's a real Southsider gang, Sereno gang, and they're out there and they're real dudes, man. So yes, the OFA that is in Modesto, California, Stockton, California, San Jose, California, Arizona, Nevada, Portland, Oregon, did all originate from one street in West Los Angeles, Oxford Avenue. Shout out to all the guys from OFA from all across the board. I salute y'all for doing your thing and holding it down for these many, many years. I thought I'd bring you guys this video because it's very interesting that a gang from LA could come to Northern California and last all these years. Even though they weren't banging Sue, they still originated from Southern California, from Los Angeles. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. If you guys want more content like this, let me know in the comments. I'm a history junkie. Let me know who else you guys want me to do a video on next. I appreciate every single one of y'all. It's the kid. Let's go.
This community, we don't have nothing else to do. There's still more. What do you want to do? There ain't nothing here to do but to around.
Only buses were supposed to get killed when tagger crews like OFA became an alternative to street gangs. But that didn't last.
Other gangs come and shoot at us, so they come try to mess around with us, and we're just neutral. We're in the middle. between gang warfare. The people that died.
The OFA dead are now listed on this mural. Names like Wreck and Resk and Fane.
They were tagging, but they decided they wanted a gangbang, and they died. They got killed by other gangs.
The violence is now beginning to turn Tagger